Welcome back to Psychology 545. I'm Dr. Harry Beeman, and the purpose of this video is to take a look at the construction of the Ethics Awareness Inventory paper. So we're going to look at how to access the Ethics Awareness Inventory, where to post your paper, the objectives for this particular paper, and how those objectives can translate into headings, and we'll summarize by looking at some critical points. You can find the Ethics Awareness Inventory on Week 1 course webpage for this course. There's a link there. Just click on the link and it'll take you right to the inventory. Take the inventory. After you complete the inventory, prepare a 700 to 1,050 word summary of your findings using the objectives that I'm going to be discussing for the paper. It's okay to go over 1,050 words. Just make sure that you've hit every single objective. And then when you're done, post your assignment through the assignment link. Okay, so taking a look at the objectives, I want to remind you that I highly recommend using the objectives as headings. This way you're not going to miss an objective. So the first objective of this paper is briefly describe the Ethics Awareness Inventory. And what I need you to do here is to define each of the core perspectives. Here's a suggested level 1 heading off of this objective. You'll notice that it's centered on the page, it's bold, and it's a mixture of capitalized and non-capitalized words. And there is no period. So this particular level 1 heading would read, a brief description of the Ethics Awareness Inventory. A literary reference for this particular part of the paper would be the Williams Institute for Ethics and Management. Notice that it starts off on the left, and thereafter each line is indented, 5 to 7 spaces. It's a mixture of capitalized and lowercase letters. It ends in a period. It goes into parentheses for the date, for the year rather, of the publication, 2011, a period, and then the title, Ethics Awareness Inventory. Notice that this is italicized, that only the first letter of the Ethics Awareness Inventory is actually capitalized. Also notice, you'll remember from our review in the APA reference video, that 6th edition is not italicized. Then there's a period followed by retrieved from, and then the URL or the actual internet address. And then when you're done addressing that particular part of your paper, that main point, that objective, I need you to use a transition sentence. And again, a transition sentence takes the reader from what we've just discussed and prepares them for the next main point. The next main point is summarize the ethical perspective identified through your use of the Ethics Awareness Inventory. Here's a suggested level 1 heading. Again, bold, centered on the page, double spaced, no period, a mixture of capitalized and lowercase letters. A summary of my ethical perspective is identified through the use of the Ethics Awareness Inventory. That's the heading. Corresponds with the objective. Notice the use of the word my. Your papers need to be personalized because this material is about you. This is about your experience specifically with doing the Ethics Awareness Inventory. And a literary reference for this particular part of the paper would be the same as the first objective. It's the Williams Institute for Ethics and Management. If you use this reference, you write it exactly this way, you will have no errors when it comes to APA format for this particular reference. Now, in this particular objective, it's important that you also identify which core perspective you scored the highest on and the lowest on. In addition to that, what does the Williams Institute have to say about people who score high and low on these two perspectives? Discuss that. And then write a transition sentence, again taking the reader from this particular main point or objective into the next. The next main point, the next objective, reads, explain how you agree or disagree with the results of your Ethics Awareness Inventory. Here again is a suggested level 1 heading. How I agree or disagree with my results after completing the Ethics Awareness Inventory. Bold, mixture of capitalized, lowercase letters, no period, centered on the page. Okay? There is no need for an additional literary reference for this particular main point or objective, because this is you explaining how you agree or disagree with this particular part of the paper. Well, how you disagree or agree with your findings from the ethics awareness inventory. And then insert another transition sentence. The next objective reads, explain the importance of understanding your own personal ethics perspective. Here's again a level 1 heading, the importance of understanding your ethical perspective, directly from the objective for the paper, double-spaced, mixture of capitalized undercase letters, bold, no period. Now, what I need you to do also is to use a literary reference that you haven't used so far in the paper. So don't use the Williams Institute for Ethics and Management in this particular main point. You need a brand new reference. And then insert a transition sentence and we can move on to the next objective. The final objective is to analyze the relationship between personal and professional ethics in the field of psychology. Again, here's a suggested level 1 heading. An analysis of personal and professional ethics in the field of psychology. Then support your logic with a completely different literary reference that you haven't used so far in your paper. Alright, so after we've gone through and constructed the headings and the transitions and talked about the objectives and the main points of the paper, it's important to also realize that there's a flow to this. And this is going back to our discussion that we had in the video titled APA Paper Format. You need a solid introductory paragraph. Make sure that you address each objective. Use headings. As a matter of fact, use the objectives as headings. Use transition sentences between each and every main point, with the exception of the last main point. You don't need a transition sentence going from the last main point into the conclusion. Use a solid concluding paragraph, use APA format in text and in your reference page. And please, please watch spelling, grammar, and punctuation. They are very, very important. So what we've taken a look at in this particular video is how to access the Ethics Awareness Inventory, where to post your paper. We took a look at the objectives. I showed you how to turn those objectives into level 1 headings. We discussed a few critical points. And now you should be prepared to do this particular paper. The next video will cover the learning team reference assignments. Thank you.